Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Greenleaf's first remote writing workshop. We've launched this mini-series while we work remotely and continue to abide by the shelter-in-place orders to provide both valuable resources and expertise to get you started with the writing process. So we'll be putting together short videos during this quarantine that will cover a different writing topic each week. And at the end of each episode, we will leave you with a writing challenge. Today I'm interviewing Erin Brown, one of our expert editors at Greenleaf, about the timing and writing and how to get started. But first, Erin, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Of course. Thank you so much. Really excited that we're doing this. A little bit about me. I was lucky enough to get into publishing over 20 years ago. Started out in New York City as an editor at HarperCollins Publishers, later moved to St. Martin's Press. After I moved back to my native Austin, Texas, I was a freelance editor for many, many years. And now I edit both fiction and nonfiction here at Greenleaf Book Group. And I'm so grateful every day to be part of such an incredible team.
Oh, I love that. Okay, awesome. So that was awesome, Erin. So let's jump into this week's question. So Erin, in our current state with so many people suddenly having more time at home, what advice do you give to a first-time writer?
Well, obviously, we're in the midst of a very chaotic, life-changing time for our country, the world, for each of us. However, in all of this uncertainty, some truths remain, and that is people are reading, some more than ever, and they're also writing. So let's embrace these positive aspects, what I like to do during this unexpected stay-at-home order. And we can now carve out more time to write, whether it's a debut novel, recording your experiences during this time. This is a time that will go down in history, so write down what's happening around you. You can start a nonfiction manuscript or even a short story, but now is the time to do it. If you've been putting off writing because of time, well, this is it. So embrace this unforeseen opportunity to write. And I want to point out that I'm an expert at this because when I was a freelance editor, I worked out of my house for 13 very long years with 2 small children. So I know what I'm talking about. It's finally my time to shine with a few tips I have on how to be the most productive at home, how to make the most of your writing and your time through organization and scheduling, and really discovering what works best for you.
Awesome. Okay, so with many people struggling with productivity while stuck in the same place, do you have any tips for writers staying in a creative headspace?
Well, I like to tell my authors, especially those starting out, that the ideal conditions for writing, they really never arrive. And this is the biggest trap of all. People will say, oh, I'll start writing when this happens or when this happens. And honestly, that's never going to happen. But right now, this sheltering in place conditions, this is probably going to be the closest you're going to get to the ideal condition. So discover and create a creatively conducive environment for writing. And the way you can do that to get into this creative headspace, and as hard as it is, and how you might not want to hear this, is cut back on TV and other time-consuming entertainment. So you really have to commit to writing. And to do that, we all know that Netflix is calling. Some of you might not have even watched Tiger King yet. I know it's hard, but you have to make sacrifices to write. So save up that favorite series for when you reach a milestone and then reward yourself. But really get serious about unplugging your other devices. So take your phone off your desk, turn off your iPad, your Kindle, your music player. Don't give in to the temptation to open another web page. In fact, there's apps out there. I think there's one called Freedom that you can actually use to regulate your time on web pages so that you literally cannot get on there. So you can really devote yourself to writing. Second, multitasking is a massive time waster. I hate to say that because I'm a huge multitasker, but when it comes to writing, it reduces the quality of your work. So stay off Facebook, put a stop to your web surfing, block those certain websites, or you could even go old school and turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, absolutely. So something I actually noted with Judy Holler when we did our last Instagram Live is, there's a quote, there's never going to be a right time to do anything, but time is essentially a gift. And right now we've been given the gift of time. I mean, it might be under not so great circumstances, but this is, like you said, the closest you're going to get. So definitely take advantage of it. Where do you want to be in 6 months, and how much work do you want to get done during this time?
Exactly. Very good point.
Awesome. Okay, so would you say that there's a right time of the day to write?
I definitely do think there's a right time of day. And I think that the easiest way to create a habit, especially with writing, is, or for anything, is to make it one of the first things you do each day. That's why a lot of people exercise first thing in the morning. But especially if you're juggling working from home and during a pandemic, throw kids in there, as the day progresses, so much stuff starts happening. You're pulling in different directions, and there's just so many distractions that come up during the day, that it's best, not to mention fatigue, especially after lunch, that it's really ideal to write first thing in the morning. And it's proven through research that creativity is highest during and immediately after sleep. So not many of us are typing while we're sleeping. So the next best thing is to wake up and immediately set aside some time for writing. I think that research and editing can be done later in the day. So if you want to do some of that, you can save that for later. But I think creativity is at its peak first thing in the morning. So even if you're setting your alarm, I know it's hard to do even 20 minutes earlier, you can get in 15 minutes of writing. And if you're doing that consistently, you're making a habit. And I think it can make a huge difference in your productivity.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely think my creative energy is highest in the mornings, and I definitely leave more of like my housekeeping items to the afternoon, because I feel like after 3 o'clock, I just have to do the routine emails, Excel drives, because my brain is just full.
Yes, you're just mentally and physically exhausted. So
absolutely. Definitely agree. Okay, question 4. What about work conditions at home? Any ideas or tips for boosting creativity and productivity while at home?
Well, conveniently for us right now, research proves that the most productive place to write is in your home. So here we are. That's because you can really regulate your comfort zone when you're in your home. You can adjust the temperature. You have everything you need for your work and your comfort already around you. So one thing is just remember to keep your home working environment different than your leisure environment. So in other words, don't write in bed, because all this comfort might be counterproductive to your word count. But comfort should be top priority. That goes for anything, the temperature of the room, for instance. Some people might think initially that when it's really cold, it'll keep you awake and it'll keep you working. But research shows that when it's warmer, there's a strong correlation with positivity, which can make you more generous, which can improve the quality of your writing, which I think is interesting. And you're also less likely to make mistakes in a warmer environment compared to a cold one. So get that, make sure you're comfortable there. And it also pays to have everything you need within easy reach. So before you start writing, have your water, have your notes, have everything already around you so you're not wasting time getting up and going to the kitchen and grabbing papers, things you need. So get everything situated, have your environment already set up before you begin so you're not wasting time. You also want to have some healthy writing snacks on hand so that you can keep your energy up and fuel your brain. So have those ready too. And also, if the area where you tend to write is noisy, as I mentioned, I have children, or if you have a roommate or a spouse who is loud and annoying, or both, invest in some headphones or even earmuffs, anything that's going to give you some quiet, because it makes a huge difference to have that serenity when you're creating. Another tip for increasing productivity, I believe, is to plan your writing sessions in smaller units. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to write for 5 hours, that's very broad. But if you can plan on writing 421 words in the morning when you get up early, or if you write 510 words while on hold with customer service, those are very finite, you can easily handle those smaller amounts. Also, you can have a daily plan to hit your writing targets so that you work smarter. Then you're spending less time deciding what to work on whenever you sit down. So you already have a plan. You're not trying to work out the mechanics of your story as well. You can get right to the actual writing. So a way you can do this, you can divide your story outline between days in your writing schedule. You can set down which chapters and scenes you want to work on for specific days. You can also track your productivity. So make a note each day how much you've written, what time you were writing, and then you can look back on that week and say, oh, when I was writing in the morning, I got lot higher word count done than when I worked in the afternoon on this day. So you can really see when your productivity is highest as well, when you're getting the most done.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so this is all really great information for writers navigating the new writing environment at this time. We wanted to leave everybody with a fun creative exercise for next week, which we hope will get your creative juices flowing. What do we have for this week, Erin?
Well, I was thinking about this, and really time management is self-management. So for the next 7 days, I challenge you, and your exercise will be to establish a daily writing habit. So set your alarm earlier each morning, or carve out any set time during the day to write for 7 days, each day, without fail. It can be as little as 20 minutes. Write anything. You don't have to begin your novel. Just establish a writing habit. There are hundreds, thousands of writing prompts online to get you inspired, so you can do one each day. You really just want to get in that habit. So it doesn't really matter at this point what you're writing. A few ideas for writing prompts would be, describe how you think your grandparents met. If you could do anything for work, what would it be? Write about a time you were uncomfortable. This is one of my favorites. Show a character's personality solely by describing their bedroom. Write a letter to your 14-year-old self. But I think really, no matter what, any of these prompts you use, and again, there's so many online you can find, the most important thing is to just write each day for a set amount of time, figure out what that time is when you're most productive, and just stick to it, make it a habit.
Okay, love this. That's so interesting. And I'm definitely, even though I'm not in the process of writing, I just want to do these just solely for the creative exercise. Okay, so everybody, we want to hear from you about how your creative exercises are going, what you'd like us to cover in upcoming episodes. So be sure to engage with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Greenleaf Book Group with the GR at the end. I will also include this in our post so you can follow us. So make sure you're DMing us, commenting on this, and also, you can email us as well, and definitely keep an eye out for the next video, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.
Hey, thank you.